Good morning, everybody out there in YouTube land. I felt like making a little video here, like just a micro video, a little PSA for the Yamaha Viragos, the Gen 2s, 86 to 99. Just a little tip. Here's mine. That's how she's looking at the moment. I'll go through this bike in a few more weeks, probably before the winter hits. And my little PSA is when you are doing a stator and like a pickup coil, and generally you take your controls off and you move your highway bar if you have one, and you get to the behind the starter, you get that two screws off, get those caps off, start working on the starter, or for me, and then the bolts come off and this cover can come off. And generally you take your clutch cable off. Now I had a leak going, and this is my original case, and what happened is I didn't seal up these grommets. So when you do these, once you remove one of these, even with the new gasket on the engine side, put the gasket on, what's going to happen is you're going to have these rubber, I think they're grommets or spacers. They create a seal between the engine case, and they allow the wires to pass through. And then there's one here for your pickup coil, and it runs. The wires run under these through there, and there's a grommet there, but just for example. So what you want to do is add some of this sealant, any sealant. Like this is the Honda gasket stuff. This stuff's really good. You want to need it to set up a bit. So what I did is I'll finish what I'm saying. It's like, so I had a leak out of here, which was coming out of here essentially, and it was going all up in there, and it was blowing out. It's because things are turning and moving. So it was blowing up there, blowing to the other side of the motor, then dripping all down. This was coated in oil. My kickstand, my center stand, everything was coated in oil, all up on that back side of the engine. Plus, my tire and rim was getting really, really bad and really coated. I was actually slipping on turns in first gear. And I just bathed this thing yesterday for a very long time. Used engine degreaser. Got this thing as clean as I could possibly get. I'll show you some of the staining. So you see the staining that was coming from there up. And for a few years, these were going too. And then when I did that stator about a year ago, I never sealed it, and it just got worse. So those are new little gaskets in there, the brasses. But like that's all from that. But what happens is it blows up there and it sits and it pools here too. So this thing's clean as I can get it without getting in there with a wire wheel. And this is a 750, but like it was awful. And I was starting to slip. So what I did was I didn't realize that was the problem. And I over tightened my case, so you can see a crack right here. Boom, where the hell are you? Okay, well, I'm a liar. No, there you go. So there's a crack, two cracks right there. So I thought the oil was coming from the bottom part of the case. See this? If you can see these cracks, it's hard with one hand because that's the way the case goes on. Right there's your starter. That'd be where the starter and everything is. I thought it was just coming out of there. I over tightened it way too much, but it was really coming out of here, and it was blowing up and dropping and getting all under the bike and all into my rim. So my public service announcement, when performing a new stator and pickup coil swap, is use a gasket maker. This is the Honda. It's really wrinkly, but this is the Honda semi-drying liquid gasket maker, and I put some in each one of these three cavities, and then I put these in, and you got to remember the gasket, the paper gasket runs all here, right? So I put the gasket maker on these 3 points in here, and I just made it, and it squashed it up against the engine. I gave it a wicked scrubbing, and I'm just going to put this back with parts. And so it's not leaking, and it should be. So I gave it a really good scrubbing. I ran it Actually ran it and then I washed it because I didn't want water getting in back when I put the oil back in it. Because there's a leak and you wash it and then oil can run into your motor. And when I parked it, there's no drops, nothing. And I actually used cat litter to dry up all my garage floor here. It was bad for the last year. See all those black marks? I used cat litter and crushed it up. And so that's my PSA is what I've just stated there with the gasket maker when you're doing a stator and a pickup coil and everything. So that's a new case. Not new, it's a used case, but it's of the right vintage. It's the correct case for the year. It is uglier, it is pitted. I had to sand it down. You can see the pitting. That's just chrome. But I think between that was in my earlier video in the early summer, late spring, I did a walk around on this and I was leaking and it was there. It was out of that grommet. I thought I needed to put a new seal on it and I did. And I still didn't put that sealing on it until just yesterday before this video. So it's fixed up. It's not leaking. I did already, since my last video, I've done the fork seals, had those done. This sucker is clean. So the front of my motor is actually clean. I've scrubbed it. I got more scrubbing and degreasing to do, but I've done the best I can under there for what this is. And she doesn't bleed anymore. So there's my PSA. Thanks for watching.